Chapter 20: The Damned Guys. The collapse of the Bear Stearns hit farms in June 2007 should have been a terrifying moment for Stan O'Neill's. Merrill Lynch had been the first to make a grab for Bear's AAA subprime collateral, which began the Rams another bank anti-bank that backed down the two funds, yet it had been unable to sell that collateral because nobody wanted it. Nobody could say anymore what it was worth. Dale Latancio, who ran Merrill's serious business, and his boss, Husman Submersi, responded in exactly the way you would expect up to people whose multi-million dollar and business were completely depend on their ability to continue manufacturing CDs. They told their superiors that the market in the middle um, of a little road patch, but there was nothing to worry about. Somerset Dennis ever saying or even implying that the market was going toward a temporary road patch. Given the unprecedented events, it was impossible for anyone to predict whether or when the market would recover. Because of this, Merrill Lynch was prudently taking steps to reduce its subprime risks, and that, according to Mercy, between the second and third quarters of 2007, Merrill Lynch reduced its subprime risks by 50%. O'Neill's appeared to accept their analysis, according to the New Yorker magazine. The two men told O'Neill that the serious market would eventually stabilize, allowing Merrill to sell its holding. The magazine added O'Neill cement resurrect. He did, however, ask them to try to hit the position which they insisted they were already doing. Indeed, in late 2006, around the same time, Goldman Sachs concluded that it needed to disclose whom Dow Kim was telling Mercy and Latancio the same thing. At a board meeting in July, the two men claimed that Merrill Lynch was likely to lose no more than $83 million from its prime exposure, a claim that other Merrill executives view as implausible. Yet O'Neill didn't question them. When others tried to warn O'Neill that Mercy's loss estimates were too low, they were met with insanely glare. According to several former Merrill executives, Mercy and Latencio vehemently denied that they ever made such a estimate on the Joel Ward meeting. It is absurd to suggest that the company's exposure had been reduced to 83 million by mid-July 2007 when has disclosed in the company's third quarter earnings announcement. The exposure was $40.9 million. In any event, I made two assessment at the meeting of the potential maximum exposure. Shortly after that board meeting, Merrill announced its second quarter earnings. When the super says the numbers were terrific, to $2.1 billion in profit and $9.7 billion in revenues. The profit number was 31% higher than Merrill's second quarter profits in 2006. In the accompanying press release, Merrill specific pointed to the success of its credit products. During the conference call with investors, CFO Jeff Edwards put it even more explicitly: the growth in fixed income was the due in large part to a substantial increase from the structure, financial, and investment, which primarily reflects a better performance from our U.S. supermarket activities, acknowledging that the market for CDOs has yet to fully stabilize after the collapse of the Bear Stearns hedge funds. Edwards and that risk management, handling, and cost control in this business are especially critical during such periods of difficulty, and ours have proven to be effective in mitigating the impact of her results. Within 3 months, every one of these claims could prove to be delusional. It seems inconceivable now that O'Neill himself had too little understanding of what lay ahead. He was a very smart man, thought as shown as Wall Street executives. One of the more formative experiences of his career had been the long-term capital management disaster. He had been Merrill CFO during that crisis, and it remained secured in his memory. He knew how a series of events could spiral into catastrophe. He remembered that awful feeling of realizing that Merrill's couldn't put a value on the collateral in health. The South shops increases everything his collateral, meaning that securities that were supposed to act as hit suddenly started falling in tandem, exacerbating the losses. Panics have their own momentum, their own rhythms. It didn't matter how much cash you said you had. If your counterparties lost fight in you were finished. You couldn't rely on anything, he liked to say. O'Neill had worked 15 hours a day for months during the LTCM crisis. He had gone home night after night, worried about whether the firms would have enough liquidity to fund himself to the next day. And he liked to say he never forgot those lessons. Yet now it appeared as if he had forgotten those lessons.